You can go.
I didn't prepare anything further.
Okay. And any statements you want to make? You're good?
If you guys are able to give me the opportunity to show that I can be a productive member of society, I would really appreciate it. But I understand that you guys have to take other factors into consideration for your decision. And I just want to thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Reeves. I appreciate that. So this is the time you're just going to sit back and listen to us. We're going to deliberate, meaning we're going to make a decision. After we're done, I'll come back to you and explain the decision, okay? All right, thank you. Colleagues, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm gonna support the department's recommendation. The TDD on this before he starts his special sentence is next year. And then, he is an A commit. He's completed his treatment successfully, and we have some feedback from the provider who did the SOTP saying that he was an active participant and that, he never minimized his actions. And I see that in the interview too. He was very upfront about what he did and didn't minimize, anything that the victim told us, and just said that she was right about everything she said that he did. And so I think here the biggest thing is exactly what he said, focusing on SOTP aftercare and making sure that there's treatment in the community to help keep him on top of his risk factors, and that aftercare is in the community. Aftercare is not at Newton. And so in order to make sure that he has the best shot at doing well and not reoffending, he needs to get into that aftercare. So I'd be looking at the parole with a 10B to start at the work release. I'd be looking at that no early discharge, so he'll stay on parole until the special sentence starts next year. I'd be looking at limited internet usage, because he did talk about early access to pornography being a factor. I would be looking at the 40A for substance abuse treatment, SOTP aftercare, and I see here a recommendation for mental health evaluation too. I think that would be helpful. And then a 50A for alcohol prohibition.
So how about a 30A on this one?
She was not a minor at the time. She disclosed that it started when she was a minor. So, yeah, that's a tough question. I probably would be leaning against putting it on.
Okay.
And then that's one that the PO can remove if they it's no longer an issue. And I'll make a note about it in the comment box.
Go ahead. You're good.
Yeah, I would put it on.
Susie, thoughts, please?
Yeah, I had the same codes as Meredith. I'm going to support the recommendation. In addition to what she's talked about, he recognizes that he is an alcoholic. He's talked about getting a sponsor, so he'll be involved with pro-social folks that will help in his stability. And, he's looking at a job. It sounds like he may be able to return to where he was before. So he has goals and he has a plan. It looks like he's going to take it step by step. So again, I will support the department's recommendation.
Thank you. And if it wasn't for the time on the back end being so short, I probably would not be in support of this. But being that the goal for cases like this is to get them educated into the treatment and then to pursue the aftercare that's needed as well. I think some good points were validated, stating that he has taken accountability. He understands impulsivity, understands what his distortions are as well. So for that reason alone, I'll be in agreement with the DOC recommendation of work release. So the same codes as you guys said, and I'm going to deliver this. Mr. Reese, you heard us in our deliberation. We're going to give you a chance, but we don't want to see you again after this. No like crimes, period. Okay? And you heard me say that I would not have voted for this if you had more time. But the goal is, it seems as though you are absorbing what the goal, what the teachings are and what the treatment is. So we're release you to work release with these other codes that we have for you. It's going to be called a PGD3 with a 10B, meaning you're going to work release. The 20B means you're going to go all the way to your discharge date of 8/15/25. The 20A is that we don't want you using the internet. We want you to, the 40A is a treatment code for the SOTP, and we want you to get a substance abuse evaluation as well. The 50A is we do not want you to drink alcohol, period. We don't, no liquor stores, no bars, okay? You can go to a restaurant that serves alcohol, but it's got to be mainly food at that place, okay? So that's going to be the codes we give to you. Meredith explained the no contact rules. Once you're out, please abide by those because I can get you back here quicker than anything. Okay. And before I leave, I want to again thank the victim, Rachel, for her statement. It meant a lot to us as well. So that will conclude this interview. Wish you well. Okay.
Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Lacey, we just need 2 minutes for a quick bathroom break and then we'll be right back for Mr. Ledesma.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for that. We're back and we're ready. So it looks like we have Anthony Ledesma next. Any updates or anything that we should know about him that's not in the recommendation?
I don't think so. I think everything's up to date still.
Okay. I don't think I had any questions for you, Susie or Jesse.
I do not.
I do not, thank you.
All right, then we're ready to bring him in.
Okay, one moment.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have you sit here and I'll flip it around, okay?
Sure.
Yep. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning.
Hello,
Can you please state your name and your ID number for me?
Anthony Ledesma, 6944446.
Thank you, Mr. Ledesma. My name's Meredith Lamberti, and here with me are Jesse Rincon and Susie Wynot, and we're the three-member panel of the Board of Parole. We're going to be talking with you this morning. So before we get started, I want to go over a couple of things with you so you know what to expect today.
Okay.
The very first thing that's important for you to know is that this Zoom that we're on is considered a public forum. And what that means is that members of the public or the media, they can listen to your interview, but they can't participate in it. But because they can listen, it's important that you know we might discuss some personal and confidential information this morning. And that includes, but isn't limited to, things like your medical history, your mental health history, your treatment history, or other possible confidential information. So do you understand that those are some things that we might discuss today?
Yes.
Okay, so what's going to happen is that each of the three of us might have some questions for you, and we'll start with our questions first.
Okay.
And then once we're done with any questions we have, that's when you'll get the chance to tell us anything else that you want us to know or anything that you might have prepared for us today.
Okay.
And then once you've had a chance to make a statement, then the three of us are going to go into our deliberation where we discuss what our decision's going to be. And we'll do that here on the Zoom. So you'll be able to listen to that discussion as we're having it. And then once we reach a final decision, I'll explain to you what that decision is. I'll answer anything, any questions that might be confusing, and then that will end our interview for the day, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready to get started?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, why don't you start by giving us, a brief but detailed explanation of the crime that you committed that led to you being in prison today?
I sexually abused my now ex-wife. Didn't really care about the consequences or anything, so I felt like it was okay to do. Now knowing and taking the treatment class and knowing like what I did was unacceptable and was very heinous and stuff. So I take full responsibility for everything that I did. Um, I just really messed up basically, and I abused her. I mentally abused her physically. Called her names. I did everything I wasn't supposed to do as a man.
Can you talk to us about, some of the things you learned about yourself in treatment that led to you committing those acts against her?
I learned that. So when I first went in, I thought, okay, what I did was wrong, but understanding what you did was wrong is more of an eye opener, because she trusted me. She had full trust in me, and I put that all to the side and just did whatever I wanted to do and didn't even care about her feelings. Now I understand, like, I wouldn't want any guy treating my kids like that, my daughters, so why would I want to treat a woman like that was trying to help me and do everything for me that she possibly could, and I totally disrespected her and didn't even care about what she thought about it. So I wouldn't want anybody to do that to my kids or anything. So I believe what I did was wrong.
I appreciate hearing that. Did you grow up seeing any domestic violence in your home?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
And then do you have children right now, or were you
Yes.
talking about? Okay.
I got 7 kids.
Okay.
6 with 7 with my victim.
All of your kids are with your victim?
Well, 7 of them are. The other 2 are with their other moms. So I have 9 kids all in.
Okay, I gotcha. I thought you had said just 7, and so I was confused. Were they ever present when you were committing any abuse against their mom?
So there was a couple times where yeah, they were there in the house, so that's considered being victims too. That's what I've learned. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, yes. I'm not gonna try to justify it. Yes, they were.
It's kind of that cycle, right? You saw domestic abuse in your home and now your kids
Yeah,
did.
but I'm not gonna try to justify it and say, oh, this happened because of this. That was my mistake that I did. So I mean, yeah, I've seen a lot of domestic violence with my mom and my dad, and him hurting her and stuff. But that's just something I should have broke out of and went my own way. Because what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, and I knew what was wrong.
So how do you plan to help your kids to break that cycle for themselves so they don't become perpetrators or victims?
I plan on showing my kids more love than what I got in the household from my father. Um, Telling them to treat each other right. You know, like what I just said. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. And they have that more stability to know what's right and wrong because they're going to be able to grow up with more people around them that do right. So my job is to basically guide them instead of okay, well it's okay to hit a girl or it's okay to hit a boy and stuff like that because they won't fight back or nothing. It's just not right to put your hands on anybody for any kind of reason.
Are you having any contact with them right now?
No, not right now.
Okay, so you had said
I
she's
do
your,
talk to DHS though. I talk to DHS. I write them letters and send them pictures, but that's through them though.
so are they in their mom's care now or are they with
With
someone else?
her, they're with her grandmother. Care. But I've been talking to DHS about trying to get them back and everything, and they said all I needed to basically do is do what I need to do here and try to better myself, and then we'll get back to all that.
Do you know what point, like, have you had any juvenile court case involvement for them? Have they gone?
Yeah, they're in foster care placement with the grandmother.
Do you have an attorney that you're talking to for that?
I do, but he's not like I talked to him like maybe once, and that was it.
Well, it's good that you're talking to your DHS worker to have what
Yeah.
involvement with them that you can.
Yeah.
So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about your future plans. So it looks like the plan is to have you start out at the work release,
Mhm.
right? What are
Yeah.
your plans as far as, any employment or goals that you have for yourself once you finish the work release?
So my main goal right now is to try to be a better father, like that, a better father, a better person. Work hard. Um, I need my kids in my life. So like the, so I'm from a Hispanic. Well, you already could tell. So like family is like the main important thing to us. So my thing is getting my family, well, my kids back, doing what I'm supposed to do as a father, get a job, keep a stable job, and do whatever they need to be done, whatever needs to be done with them. It's not my life no more. This is not my life no more. I'm living for them now. So I got to do whatever they need.
Do you know what you want to do for work, or is your plan to go
So
see what's available at the work release?
I was working construction before that. So when I was in county jail, I talked to my old boss and he said, "Yeah, you can come back. You're more than welcome back." That's something I enjoy because I like seeing the end of results of things. I like building things and stuff. So it's more of a hobby than a job. So that's something I like to do.
Well, that's good too, because if you've done it before and you're able to support your family on that salary, then you know that you can do it again, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I think those were all the questions that I have for you to start. I'm gonna see if Jesse or Susie have any questions for you. Jesse?
Yeah, I do. Hello, Mr. Ledesma. How you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, thank you. So what's the biggest thing you took from SOTP so far?
So I took from stop with the blaming and take accountability. It's not nobody else's fault. You make your own decisions. So whatever decision you decide to make, that's the decision you have to stick with, and that's a decision that affects you and your family from now on. So it's either, I mean, everyone has a second chance. So it's not like the end of the world for the SOTP, but it's more of now let's see what you're really made of.
So during the time of the incident, what did your drug or alcohol consumption look like at that time?
So I was drinking a lot. I was drinking beer a lot. Um, I was doing meth and pills. So I was I was a bad junkie basically.
Right. How often would you do meth?
I did it like twice a week.
Was you under influence at the time of this incident?
Yes,
Under what, alcohol and drugs?
pills, alcohol, and meth.
Okay. And how do you feel with some sobriety time under your belt now?
I feel like I'm clear-headed. I feel like I know what I want. I know what I need to do, and I know where to go now.
So what makes you, just out of curiosity, why did you take out the anger on your wife that you said was so supportive?
So I felt like, okay. So when we talked about this in class and stuff, like the way I felt was like my world was closing down because of, like, financial reasons and different stuff like that, and then I felt like I was going nowhere. And then when because I didn't have a job at that time, so I felt like depressed. I let it get the best of me, and I felt like my ex-wife felt like she was doing better than me, and I was just basically jealous. I was jealous and being a little kid instead of being a grown man and taking the responsibility, getting up, going, doing whatever I had to do. But I felt like I was stuck and I was going downhill. So
Besides your wife and your children being considered victims, is there any other victims in your life that you can name?
like so for domestic violence, I had my other baby mother and my other baby mother. So yeah, those were yeah.
So when does it get to that point where the words are not effective for you and you have to get physical?
I think it's when the name calling comes out, the pride issue takes over. So I feel like that's where it came in, like the name calling, and then um, just me just snapping off of nothing, because like that saying goes, like what is it? Sticks and stones may break my bones. You know what I'm saying? But it's words do hurt, but like hands and kicking and pulling hair, that lasts in someone's memory forever. So I'm not trying to justify that. Oh, the words that I said, they shouldn't have hurt because those hurt too, or the slapping, it goes away. That never goes away on anybody, and no one should be treated like that.
So what happens if you find yourself in another relationship in the future and she's got a mouth on her and she's disrespectful and starts calling you all out your name? What are you going to do?
So that's the thing. Like I don't need to be in a toxic relationship. Once it starts getting toxic, we either need to talk about it, get some help or something, because I'm not willing to come back to prison for hitting nobody or taking out any aggression on anything else. Just get up, walk away, and if we can't deal with this, let's get some counseling or something. We're gonna work through this.
Hey, I appreciate you answering the questions I had for you. I'm going to turn it over.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Susie, any questions?
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
It looks like you were involved with MRT and MRT trauma.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk to us a little bit about, I know the MRT trauma is voluntary, so what were your reasons for taking MRT trauma?
Because MRT helped out with the surface. I needed to go a little bit deeper because everybody has something. Oh, okay, I could be sorry for this and then still do it. But it's if you want to take that next step and say, well, okay, I want to make sure this doesn't happen again. So then you go to MRT trauma and you dig deeper.
What did you learn about yourself in MRT trauma?
I learned that I was kind of a control freak. I learned that the things I was doing was not just hurting me because I really didn't care what anybody thought about me, but it was also hurting my family. It was also hurting the people around me that cared about me, my boss, my the people you don't even think would affect. You know what I'm saying? Like my boss, like my coworkers, everybody. It affected everybody because those are the people that were like, okay, well, I trust you and stuff like that, and then boom, they hear about something that I did, and they're like, whoa, I didn't expect that. You know?
Okay, thank you for sharing that. I just want to talk about your mental health for a minute here. So you're currently on medication?
Yes,
Okay. And how are those working for you?
it works good. I mean, so I've been lowering myself off of it. So I mean, it works. I'm gonna see if when I do get out, if I could like change it down to something smaller or just completely get off of it. Because I feel like all day, every day, I get up. I have a routine now. I just get up, work out, and stuff like that, and that gets the blood pumping, everything. So my mind's more straight, everything, and being out there working, I'm not gonna even think about I'm gonna need drugs or anything like that. So here I do whatever I have to do to keep my mental health in check, and I shouldn't have to use a chemical to do it.
Has it been a lifelong struggle for you regarding your mood?
Excuse me.
Has it been a lifelong struggle for you regarding your mood? Are you moody most of your life?
Oh no. So this all started when like I felt like depression. Well, like when my mom went to prison and stuff like that. Like I was like depressed and stuff. So I started getting like real bad depression, and I would like mask it up with like marijuana when I was younger. I used to mask it, everything. So when I got a little bit older, it started getting more intense, more intense. So I couldn't really do nothing. So my mood I can control now that I don't have any drugs, like any like meth totally twist your head. Cocaine totally twist your head. Alcohol twist it. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay. Thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate it.
I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Ledesma, now is your time to tell us anything else that you'd like for us to know or anything that you might have prepared for us today.
I feel like I've grown mentally, um, emotionally, because I know what I did wrong. You know, like I know what I did wrong, and what I want to do is make things right. You know, like even if my ex-wife doesn't want to talk to me, I mean, at least I can make it right through our kids. You know, like show them the love that they need. They need a father. I need to be there. I need to be able to guide them. I messed up, so I know what to tell them not to do. You know, I know the steps to take not to mess up, and I feel like I need to be more of an what is it? More of an inspiration to them. So that's my main reason.
All right, well, thank you. We appreciate that. We're gonna go into our deliberation now, so sit back and listen and we'll let you know what our decision is.
Okay.
Jesse or Susie, what are your thoughts on the recommendation here for a parole 10B?
I can go ahead. I thought you had a good interview. My only concern is going to be I know a lot of people that go on meds, they feel good and they think that they're doing so good they can come off the meds, but I think it's going to be a key factor for him to continue to do well. He's feeling good now. Why not? Yeah, so it's my hope that he's going to continue his meds, but I'm going to be in agreement with the DOC recommendation to release to work release the PG 10B. I'd put the 20B on there, 48 for mental health, SOTP, aftercare, and the 50A.
I thought this was a good interview. He took responsibility. He understands where his challenges lies. I thought it was impressive that he went ahead and went into the MRT trauma. It sounds like he dug deep and that he'll be able to use that as he moves forward. He understands that the substance abuse issue, it sounds like it's been going on for quite a while, that it started out with marijuana and it's got progressively harder drugs. But he does recognize what meth does to someone. So I was pleased that he was able to verbalize that. And and also that he did very well in SOTP. I'm the same, PGD3, the 10B, the 20B. I'm also looking the substance abuse. I would be fine with the 50A. I'd also add, in addition to the mental health, the medication compliance.
Okay. So, I agree, that this is a good interview and I'm gonna support this release. I was looking back, so we have the two special sentences that are currently in effect with the 10E on them that'll be changed later, the TDD in December, and those have the SOTP aftercare in their 40A. So I think on this one, because we're paroling on the drug charge to match, that what we'll need are the 10B. I'm fine with the 20B for the no early discharge. And then I think in the 40A, we just have substance abuse, mental health, medication, and then the 50A.
That makes sense. Thank
Okay.
you for breaking that down.
This one's it's
I get it.
complicated.
No, but it makes sense now. Thank you.
All right, so, Mr. Ledesma, we are gonna go ahead and grant your parole today. I'm gonna explain to you what we were talking about. So you're gonna go out on parole with a 10B. The 10B is that you're starting at the work release. When you go out to the work release, you'll have all the standard conditions of parole that everyone has that your PO will go over with you. And then what we do during these interviews and during our release plans are we add additional things that we'd like to see people complete or do while they're on parole called special conditions. And so the ones we were talking about, one is the 20B, which is no early discharge. So you'll stay on paper until your TDD in March of 2026. And then the 40A, those are treatment codes. Those are things we'd like you to do out in the community. So we'd like you to engage with some sort of substance abuse treatment, some sort of mental health treatment. For now, we'd like you to stay on your meds, and we heard your discussion. It doesn't mean that you can't ever change your meds. It doesn't mean you can't ever taper off of them, but it just means if you do make any changes, to do it with the help of a doctor and not to go cold turkey on your own, okay?
Yep.
And then the 50A is a prohibition on drinking alcohol or being places where alcohol is a primary activity. So places like liquor stores or bars that don't sell food. Do you have any questions for me about what any of that means?
No.
All right. Well, thank you for your time today and get out there and do well.
Take care.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hold on, let me put me in mute.
Hey, Chelsea, we just need 1 second. We're trying to figure out something with technology and then we'll be right back with you.
You're good, no worries.
Thank you.
Hi, Tasia. If you're on here, can you raise your hand on the Zoom so I can locate which one you're listed as on here?
Okay.
Thank you. We'll get with you in just a moment when they're ready. The board is ready for you. Thanks for going with the flow, letting her do it.
All right, Chelsea, we're ready.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like we're gonna be talking with Mr. Reed next. Is there anything new that we need to be aware of?
Nope, nothing new or nothing changed. He just kind of keeps to himself and puts his head down and does his thing.
Colleagues, do you have any questions?
I do not, thank
I
you.
think so.
Chelsea, can you give us the department's recommendation, please?
I believe it was a parole with a 10B. Let me pull it up here. So yep, to the work release in Davenport.
All right, thank you. I think we're ready to bring him in, please.
All right, I will go and grab him.
Thank you.
Go on in and have a seat. I can hear you and see you.
Can you see me?
Have a seat.
Good morning, Mr. Reed. How are you?
Good morning, how are you?
Good, thank you. I appreciate you asking. So this is a 3-member panel of the Iowa Board of Parole, and you'll see joining me will be Jesse Rincon, Meredith Lamberti. I'm Susie Wynock. I want to let you know that we are in a public forum, which means the public and the media can listen. However, they're unable to participate with us today.
Okay.
I also want to let you know that during the course of this interview, we could be discussing your personal and confidential information that is including but not limited to your medical history, mental health history, treatment history, or other confidential information. Do you understand?
Yep.
All right. Just to let you know how this is going to go, the process for today, the 3 of us may each have questions for you. Once we've asked our questions, then I'm going to come to you and ask you, Mr. Reed, is there anything further you'd like to share with us today? Anything you'd like for us to know? Once you've done that, then we're going to go into deliberation. You're going to be able to see us and hear us, but it won't be a time for you to participate.
Okay.
Okay. Once we have a decision, I'll come back. I'll deliver that decision to you, and then that'll conclude today's interview.
All right.
I'm going to ask the first question. I'd like for you to describe the crime that you committed.
I physically assaulted the mother of my child, which is my victim, and I instilled fear into her, into forcing her to do a sexual act that she shouldn't have did.
Okay. Would you like to add any details to that?
No.
I want to let you know that we have a victim who'd like to speak today.
Okay.
While they're speaking, it is not a time for you to participate. You can listen in, but it won't be a time, again, for you to participate.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
And I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Heather.
Okay, that's okay. Tasia, we are going to promote you to a panelist. Once you've accepted that, you will be able to unmute. You can leave your camera off or turn it on when you share your statement. Awesome. So go ahead, Tasia, and begin to share your statement whenever you're ready.
Okay. I do not have anything written this time around. I planned to, but it honestly was making me so physically sick, even thinking about writing the letter, that I even had to leave work early a few times this past 2 weeks just thinking about it. So I'm just going to talk from off the top of my head. I've dealt with this for the last almost 10 years, however long it's been. And it's not something that's ever going to go away. This person has given me more trauma than just that one night. I'm still unable to drive on the highways by myself. I have panic attacks. I get pale. I almost pass out because of the many times that he would speed around with me in the car to scare me, or when he was angry. I still have flashbacks. I still have nightmares. Every year when September comes around, my body tries to reject what happened to me. And I disassociate. I have this dissociative disorder. And every time around this year, I start to remember. And because I start to remember, I try to fight it, which is why I did not write a letter. I am accomplishing many things in my life right now with work and my daughters and myself. And even doing that, this has still been a huge problem for me. It's not only affected me, it's affected my daughter. It's affected my family. It's affected my friends that have been there for me since this happened. I feel like the only time I could breathe was when he went back to jail that night. And even dealing with the problems that I'm dealing with, that's the only time that I feel safe. I do not feel safe if he is out. My family doesn't feel safe for me. My friends don't feel safe for me. I feel like the only thing I've thought about is when he's going to be released. And I've tried to not let it stop me from living my life, but that is all that I've thought about. And the closer that it gets, I do not know how to handle it. He is not a safe person to be around. He should not be around kids. He should not be around me. Nothing about him can change. He is a master manipulator. He lies to get what he wants. He lies to get out of things. He knows exactly what he did to me, not just that night, but for all those years. He knows exactly what he did to the other girl. He knows exactly what kind of person he is, and his family and his friends and everyone around him know exactly the person that he is. And I feel like I've spent the last few years of my life thinking of how I am going to prepare to keep myself safe for when he's released. And I shouldn't have to think that. And I shouldn't have to be scared to go to work or to leave my house or to post on social media or be seen in person if he is out. This is already something that I'm going to deal with for the rest of my life. And I don't think that I should have to deal with him being released, especially in Davenport. I feel like that would completely set me back on how far that I've come with accepting that this happened. And I don't think it's fair for me or my children to see me go through that and feel those feelings while trying to be a mom and trying to live my life. Sorry. I think that he will get out and he will do the same exact things. When I did my letter last time, there were a few things that he said that just made me know right away that nothing about him has changed. He brought up my daughter and seeing her and teaching her, not the exact words, but something along the lines of teaching her to never be with someone like her. And she doesn't need to learn that from him. I can teach her that. And I would never let something like that happen to her. And I would do anything in the world to protect her and myself this time around, because I cannot go through something like this again. He cannot be in my life. He cannot be in her life. He cannot be in anyone around me, no one's life. And then there was another thing that he said. I think they asked him if there was anything that may have caused him to do what he did to me. And he brought up drinking and marijuana and meth, and none of that was true. That none of that caused him to do what he did to me. He did what he did to me because he chose to, because he made a conscious decision, not only all those other times to abuse me, but specifically that night to trick me into thinking I was going to do his hair for him and trapping me in the bathroom and choking me and putting me on the ground and threatening to kill me and raping me. That was a choice that he made, and that was a choice that he made. And I'm not the first person he's done that to. And I won't be the last if he gets out.
Thank you for your statement, Tasha. Was there anything else?
Yes, I will be if he is getting released. I do 100% fear for my life, and I want to let you know I will be going back and getting whatever protective orders I can, no matter what, because I feel like that's how serious this matter is. Um, I can't have anything happen to me or my girls.
All right, thank you. We appreciate your participation today.
Tasia, is there anything else you want to say? Or are you ready to sit back and just watch and listen?
I think I've said it. He's a dangerous person. If I was trapped, anyone, me in the world, me, myself, my kids, any random women were trapped in a room with a bear or him, I would tell everyone to choose the bear. And that's all that I have to say.
All right.
Thank you for sharing. We are going to go ahead and promote you back to an attendee, and you can continue to watch and listen. But thank you a lot, Tasha, for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So, Mr. Reed, do you have a response, keeping it directed to the board?
I mean, there's nothing I can do or say anything to change the situation or go back in the future and do something differently. But I just want to say that I am extremely apologetic. I do feel remorse. I have to deal with the same thing every day that I sit in prison, because I not only messed up her life, which I did, I messed up my daughter's life, I messed up my life and my family's life. So there's nothing I can say or do to make anything better than what it is right now. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I am extremely apologetic, and I do feel a lot of remorse about the situation that is at hand right now. And I mean, it's not really much I can say. You know, I don't think it's gonna change anything. I don't think it's gonna change the way she feels. All I can do is better myself as a man and go out into the world and prove not only to myself but everyone else that that's not me. That's who I was then. I'm older now. I'm not the same person that I was before, with this careless intention or not caring about anybody else besides myself. So all I can do is hope that I can get a chance at light and be able to show you guys that I'm able to do what I'm supposed to do as a man. That prison is for you to rehabilitate, and I feel like I've done everything to rehabilitate. I've done treatments. I've taken classes that I had no business taking. I just take it so that I can better myself, so that when I get into the world, I'm able to integrate into the society as the person that I should have been from the very beginning. So that's what I have to say for that.
Thank you. It's a yes or no question.
Yeah.
Is her description of what you did to her accurate?
Yes. I
Thank you.
take full responsibility and I take accountability for my actions.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
going to move to my colleagues now.
Okay.
See if they have questions. Meredith?
Yeah, I only have a couple questions for you, Mr. Reed. My first one is I saw after the work release that you're thinking of moving with some family in Illinois. Is that accurate?
Eventually, that was my first plan, but I understand that I have someone that really fears me in the world. You know what I mean? And I don't want that for nobody. So I really do not want to go to the halfway house in the Quad Cities. I'd rather be further away so no one has to, or she doesn't have to deal with knowing that I'm in the world. You know what I mean? So eventually, if I do have to go to the Quad Cities, I want to be in there in the halfway house and eventually save up some money so I can go as far as away as possible. So no one has to, she doesn't have to go through that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I discharge in 7 months. Like,
So is that still your plan to go to Illinois, or were you thinking somewhere else?
yeah, I was thinking somewhere else. I have a grandfather that stays in Texas right now. So I think once I get done with the halfway house in Davenport, I might go to Texas.
What caused you to want to change your plan and to leave Iowa? Because last time when we talked to you, it sounded like you really wanted to double down on staying in Davenport and
No,
pursuing contact with your daughter.
yeah, that was I want to pursue contact with my daughter, but I can do that through a court, and then I can also move away. You know what I mean? I never wanted to stay in Davenport. I really didn't want to go back to Davenport. I tried to go to Fort Dodge or Fort Des Moines halfway house a while ago, and it wasn't approved.
You wanted to go to Des Moines?
Yeah, I think it was Fort Des Moines, Fort Dodge.
Fort Des Moines.
There's Fort Dodge and Des Moines, but the work release in Des Moines is called Fort Des Moines.
Okay.
So
All right.
what made you think that Des Moines would be better for you?
I just, like I said, I don't want that burden on her. You know what I mean? I want to be as far away as possible so she doesn't have to feel like she's unsafe. I'm trying to better myself too at the same time. I'm trying to go somewhere, start out new.
Do you know anybody in Des Moines, or would it be purposely to get away from
Just
people in
get away.
Davenport? Who do you have as a support system for you?
I have my whole entire family. I have some friends.
Where do they live?
My family right now recently just moved to Schaumburg, Illinois, and then I have family in the Quad Cities.
So if you did go through whichever work release you end up going through and then go to Texas, what
Yeah.
are your plans there? What do you think you'd want to do for work or education or anything like that?
I plan on working full time, so whatever. I can't say everyone has a goal when they get out of prison, or everybody has a plan when they get out of prison. I want my plan to be what it is when I get out. So I plan on working full time, and hopefully eventually I can, if I move to Texas, I can find a job out there and work full time.
Is it just your grandpa out there, or do you have other family?
I have grandpa down there, but I have other family members. I just haven't met them yet. I just know my grandpa's out there.
I think those were all the questions I had for you to start with. So thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you. Jesse, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Reed. My name is Jesse. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Well, you were in Tech to Connect but didn't complete. What was the reason for that?
I think when I was doing it, I just got from the last parole hearing. I don't know. I think it was a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? So I felt like it wasn't really helping me do anything. And then it was taking forever to get into certain programs. So then I just disconnected myself.
So were you a little bit down after the last parole hearing?
Yeah.
What have you come to terms with now that you think back?
I mean, I'm better now. I still have the same mindset of being a little bit down from the last parole hearing, but I feel like I'm better now.
So what if you're rejected today?
I mean, yeah, I can't be mad. I can't be upset. I can't do anything because it's not in my power to give me a release. It's not in my power to give me a release. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really. I don't know. I think I'll be a little bit down, but I think I come in here prepared for the worst. You know what I mean? So I think I can handle it. All right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
What was the biggest eye opener for you in SOTP?
The biggest eye opener was how I was as a person when I was out. So going back and reflecting on my previous relationship with not only my victim but myself, and how my relationship with myself wasn't healthy. I was toxic, not only for the people around me but for myself. So that was a big eye opener for me when I was in treatment.
How are you toxic?
Uh, didn't care about anyone but myself. I didn't think before reacting. My schemas and my cognitive distortions were negative ones. They weren't something that I felt like I needed to work on. I felt like I can handle things on my own, and nothing that can be fixed can be fixed. And I felt like if I did something this way, it'd be better than the way that it should have been done. So I thought before everything was on my terms.
At what age do you think you started acting out in a negative way?
I think at a very young age, a super young age. I was probably still a kid.
Do you remember any incidents?
Yeah, in school, I used to get suspended from school all the time, in school suspensions. I used to fight or beat up all the kids in my neighborhood. I used to do a bunch of violent stuff.
What do you think stemmed from that?
I think it's just my childhood and how I grew up and how I was raised. I used to see a bunch of violent stuff in the neighborhood and being at home.
Was you at any point gang involved?
Yeah.
With who?
You said with who? I was
Yes.
a neighborhood gang. Yeah.
What was the name of
It's called Zone Fifth in the Quad Cities, and then when I was in Peoria, it's called Bomb Squad.
it? Okay. I appreciate you answering the question I had. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Meredith, do you have any follow-up?
No, but I think, well, I do actually. I think before we go into our deliberation, I want to ask Chelsea about the diversion and her thoughts, but we can let him give his statement.
That's a good
So
question.
no other questions?
No other questions.
Okay. So, Mr. Reed, we want to talk to your counselor or just, you want to do that first, right? Or do you want to wait?
Yeah,
till
let's
he's
do
done?
that first
Yeah.
because then he can address anything.
Yeah.
Chelsea,
Yeah.
would you mind just giving us a rundown? Have you requested a diversion or what are your thoughts on diverting him to the 5th?
So I inherited Mr. Reed on my caseload from another counselor, and I think that the previous counselor had reached out and asked for the diversion, and it was denied because, like the lack of family support, essentially
Right.
in the 5th. He said his family's out of Davenport. I know here, like, I would be in support of him for the diversion. I think it's for the appropriate reasons. And I think just from seeing him here, I think that he has a good work ethic. So he really wants to get out and work hard. So I think it's just the issue of the district accepting him.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. I think with hearing that you think he could be successful there and combined with the victim's concerns, that might be something we could help with. So
Yeah.
thank you for answering those questions.
All right. Thank you, Chelsea. So Mr. Reed, now is your opportunity to share with us anything further you'd like for us to know today.
I pretty much covered everything I had to say.
All right. Thank you, sir. So we're going to go into deliberation where you're going to see us and hear us, but it won't be a time for you to participate. Once we have the decision, I'll come back, I'll deliver it to you, answer any questions you might have, and that'll conclude today's interview.
I appreciate it.
Colleagues?
Yeah, I can go first. I'm gonna go ahead and support this release. His TDD is early next year and he's completed treatment. And, once somebody's completed treatment, it's best for them to get out in the community and get engaged in that aftercare programming. So he'll have those 7 months at the end of this sentence and then go out onto his special. I think, so what I'm going to do is the parole with the 10B for the work release, the no early discharge, and the 40A, the SOTP aftercare, and the substance abuse treatment, and then the 50A. And then what I'm going to do here in the 40A is recommend to start with the GPS. I think we should pursue advocating for that diversion for him for the 5th. I think that takes into account, what he would like to do and the victim's concerns. But having that GPS there in case that diversion does not go through helps alleviate some of those concerns for her as well. So that's my recommendation. Those are my thoughts.
All right, and I want to make sure I understood that you wanted to include the GPS in the 40A.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Jesse?
Yeah, I'm gonna echo everything Meredith said. I agree with the DOC recommendations. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I too am going to support the recommendation. He only has 7 months left, and I think it's appropriate for us to see how things are going to go underneath another level of supervision. And then also he's talking about leaving from there. So I also think that diversion is very appropriate, having him stay in this area and then go from here to Texas if that's his plan. So I'll go ahead and deliver our decision. Mr. Reed, you were able to hear our conversation. And we're going to support the department's recommendation today. Your TDD is coming up very quickly. You mentioned that yourself. We had also noticed that. You did express remorse. You said you're not the same person with the careless intention. And that is what we're hoping after having completed treatment, that's where you are. But we still believe that a level of supervision is very appropriate. So we would be taking the department's recommendation to move you into work release. However, we would like to see work release here at Fort Des Moines, rather than on the eastern side of Iowa in the Davenport area. So we are going to pursue that diversion for you. Mm-hmm. And in addition, a 20B means that there'll be no early discharge of your sentence. You will remain on paper for the burg and the assault until May 18th of 2025. At that point, you will go to your special sentence, which is a 10-year special sentence. So you still will remain under some type of supervision.
Okay.
In addition to that, we want you to engage in substance abuse treatment, get a baseline of where you are, and engage in any type of treatment that's requested of you. Also, SOTP aftercare to continue down that road of understanding your cognitive distortions and your risk factors and what that looks like for your stability. And lastly, we're looking at a 50A. That means that you will not frequent any establishment that's primary activity is the sale of alcohol. So that would include liquor stores, neighborhood bars where they don't serve food. And also you are not to partake in any alcohol whatsoever.
Okay.
Is all of this clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So do you have any other questions? Do you have questions?
No, thank you.
All right, sir. Go out and do what you say you're going to do.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
You too.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Yeah, did you guys want me to reach out to the district again, or were you guys going to?
Do you want to reach out to them and then CC me on that? And if there's any issues, then I can follow up with them.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds good.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're gonna, I don't know if we're gonna take a quick bathroom break. Saw Jesse head out. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
It looks like we've got Darius Triplet up with you. Any updates or anything that we should know about him that's not in the recommendation?
Sure, he is my first BOP interview that's not a sex offender, so he came from with a violent charge. Treatment was not required. He was here for hard to place. He came here and years ago, really like a defiant, argumentative, impulsive kid. He's really grown, hasn't had much reports since then, has taken work seriously. So I feel like he's really come a long way. The only thing that I just now am seeing, I'm not sure if IDAP would be for him for a 40 in the 40A because of the violent charges. I don't know if it's a requirement in his sentencing. I haven't looked yet. So I can look into that during the interview if you'd like.
Okay. Yeah, I can look at that too. My guess is because, well, the assault might have had it, but I think, I mean, it looks like he's classed as a level 5 anyway, so cognitive either way would probably be a good idea for him in the community. So that's something we can consider in that 40A.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing I didn't have.
Okay. Susie or Jesse, any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
All right, sounds like we're ready to bring him in.
I'm ready. All right, you can have a seat on the chair. The microphone's on, so they can hear us already.
Okay.
I just gotta put the camera on.
All right, thanks.
Yes.
My mom, get in.
No, just the ask on that. I can look too. All right.
Thank you. Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you doing this morning?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good.
Did my mom, get the link all and all that?
What's her first name?
Celeste?
Oh, she was on just a minute ago and dropped off, so she might come back.
Okay,
She'd been listening. My guess is maybe she's having some technology issues or something.
yeah. All right.
So, before we get started, I'm gonna have you state your full name and your ID number for me, please.
All right, Darius Liddell Triplet, 618-0901.
Thank you, Mr. Triplet. And she did just join back on, so she's listening.
Okay,
All right, my name's Meredith Lamberti, and here with me are Jesse Rincon and Susie Wynot, and we're the 3-member panel of the Board of Parole who are going to be talking to you this morning. Before we get started, I do want to go over a couple of things with you so you know what to expect today. So the very first thing that's important for you to know is that this Zoom that we're on is considered a public forum. And what that means is that members of the public or the media, they can listen to your interview, but they can't participate in it. But because they can listen, it's important that you know we might discuss some personal information this morning. And that includes, but isn't limited to, things like your medical history, your mental health history, your treatment history, or other possible confidential information. So do you understand that those are some things that we might discuss today?
yeah.
All right. So what's going to happen is that each of the 3 of us might have some questions for you, and we'll start with our questions first. Then once we're done with our questions, that's when you'll have the time to tell us anything else that you'd like for us to know, or anything that you might have prepared for us today. And then once you've had a chance to make that statement, then the 3 of us are going to go into our deliberation where we discuss what our decision is going to be. And we'll do that here on the Zoom, so you'll be able to listen to our discussion as we're having it. And then once we have a final decision, I'll turn back to you. I'll deliver the decision. I'll explain anything about it that might be confusing. And then that'll end our interview, okay?
All right.
Are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right, why don't you start by telling us a brief but detailed explanation of the crimes that you committed, and then what happened to revoke your probation and have you come to prison.
Okay, so I committed a theft first against my ex-fiancee Jasmine Nelson, or Jasmine Biggerstaff, my bad. While committing that felony, I pushed her out the truck somewhere in a cornfield, like on the way to Lamar's to go get ice cream. That's what like got my probation revoked. I take full accountability for it. Like it shouldn't have happened. I knew like how to think back then, but like I was on drugs, so like I always thought of myself like as bigger and better than like the elements of like drugs and narcotics. But I fell victim to it. I felt terrible about like that it happened to somebody that I love, and I always will love her, but I just don't think that we should be together. Um, but yeah, so it was during the theft, like I was struggling with her purse to get drugs from her purse because like I was in a frenzy about like her having drugs and I just quit. A knife got pulled in the situation. During the time like she's yelling and she's telling somebody to call the police, I like beg her to get in the truck. She gets in the truck and then we drive off, me and my brother. And during that time I pushed her out the truck. That was the assault. So that's what all led me here. But yeah.
Okay. And then what about the stalking charge?
That like I called like 20 times to somebody else, Audrey Ellis and my baby mama, Lachey Parks. I called them I called Audrey like 20 times for her to not show up to court. I was driving by like her job one day. I seen her, so I pulled over with my friend. I seen her another time like at Casey's as I was driving to a hotel to go smoke meth. And I seen her, so I asked my friend to like turn around real quick so I could talk to her. And as we turn around to like get behind her, she like sped off, so we just like stopped following her, which was for like half a block. But I violated the no contact order between my baby mom and Audrey like numerous times via calling and texting. So I was on narcotics then too. Like I wasn't myself. I was really paranoid and just like really emotional, and I just wanted to get off like probation. So like that was my thing, was like just trying to not have them show up to court. But regardless, I should have. It's not okay to break the law. You know what I mean? Regardless of what it was for. So yeah, that's what that was about. Like violating the no contact order. Like I can't even. I'll say like 20 times or something like that. Like, but yeah, I was on drugs once again. It's not who I am to do it.
What are your intentions as far as any contact with your victim in the future?
Like my baby mom, that's the only person like that I legit have to hope, like, you know what I mean? She's the only person I have kids with in the situation. So I asked like my counselor and other counselors and my mom on how like I have to go about like seeing my daughter. So sorry, I'm getting emotional, but I just want to see my child like a lot. So like I can't even wish her a happy birthday right now, which like it affects me. So I just know I have to like have what is it, DHS or something like that. Which they live in Tennessee now, so I'm gonna do whatever I have to do, whether maybe pay like 10 grand for a family lawyer or whatever, so I can just be in my daughter's life. Because like I'm missing like the best moments of life that like I remember like being 12 and 13 and 14. Like I don't want to miss those moments. So I'll do it through like do it the right way instead of like violating, a no contact order. I'm gonna contact DHS. And my mom like used to work for DHS, so she definitely knows how to like take care of that for me. So that's what I'm gonna do. As far as the other two, I wish them the best of luck in life, but there's like no reason I need to contact them, so yeah.
So it's good to hear that you know that there is a legal process to go through to have contact with your daughter. And I know it's easy for us to say to go out and hire an attorney, but that really is the best way to make sure that you're not violating anything, that you're doing everything by, the law and what you're supposed to do to pursue that contact instead of trying to contact her mom on your own.
Yeah.
So as far as looking into the future, what are your goals for yourself, whether work or education? What would you like to finish or accomplish for yourself in the future?
So I've been studying for the last like 2.5 years. My CDL. I'm 34. I just turned 34 in July. So like, I don't think school is for me. Like until like a job requires me to do so. But I'm gonna get a job at Tyson through my brother. He's been doing the CDL program for a year with them, getting his through them if he doesn't already have it. Um, so it's like everything's aligning and everything's like telling me I should go do the CDL thing and I can experience America and all the foods of America. Um, it's been a goal of mine for a while to get my CDL, but I'm at a stalemate. Like I took the written part of my residential license, but I have to do the field test. You have to have a complete residential license before you can get your CDL, the learning permit. So those are my goals. Like I'm super focused on it. When I did go to school for business administration, like I had a 3.49 GPA. So like like when I put my mind to something and a positive thing, and I know it's gonna like, make me successful and like make my mom proud and which makes me proud, just to be successful. It's something that, like inspires me so much. Like on top of like, like I have, a niece, her birthday was yesterday, her 12th birthday was yesterday. She's like my little protege. I just want to be in their life, like my nephew, my daughter. Like I don't want to continue to be like an embarrassment to myself and my family. So like success for me is just not about like me. It's about like my family's legacy though. You know what I mean? Like my mom put a lot of time into raising me the right way and I just didn't listen. I thought I had it figured out. I just never thought I'd be, where I am right now. And it's like it's been a wake-up call for probably the second year it really hit me like, dang, like I'm an embarrassment to my mom. So I'm just tired of being that. I just want to be successful and, be a contributing factor, like a positive contributing factor to society and like really be the change for myself, my family, and then the world can, benefit from that thereon. But yeah.
And you brought up your mom a couple of times, and it sounds like she's a pretty big support system for you.
Yeah. She's the only her,
She
my
ta-
her,
I
my
was gonna
aunt,
say, can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with her?
man, she's my everything. Like all I've had is my mom like in my life. Like my dad is cool and all that, but like he wasn't there. And I love him always, but it's just like he's not the best example for me. So like my uncle, my mom, and my aunts, like my grandma, those are like my fundamentals. Like the first person though was my mom, and sometimes when I don't feel like talking to my mom, I call my grandma. Sometimes when I don't feel like talking to my grandma, I don't know, I call a friend. Like, so it's just like without my mom, I wouldn't even have the mind to like move forward, like to move past like tribulations and like being able to challenge my adversity, even be able to like articulate words like that, like that's via my mom. Like she has her master's degree in criminal justice. So like she fed us, you know what I'm saying? She was a single mom feeding 3 kids, Some nights she say, she tells this story a lot. Like she sometimes wouldn't eat before she got her degree, like sometimes she wouldn't eat so that we could eat. So like, how dare I like not sacrifice, just staying out of trouble to be like something for her. It's like I've seen like people sacrifice meals that night. And I didn't even remember. I just remember like her, sitting there. And this is before, like I said, before she got into college and whatnot. But it's like after she completed college, like I seen like the grass is way greener on the other side. Like fall on the wall. Like it's not cool to be in prison. So without my mom, like I'd have nothing. Like I wouldn't have a support system. Like yeah, you know, I like my aunt is cool, but like she's not like there like my mom. And my uncle, he's cool too, but like once again, they're not gonna take care of me like my mom would, because like I'm her child. So she's everything I need at the end of the day. So yeah.
Do you think that you're in a place now where you can listen to her if she's telling you that you're doing something wrong?
Absolutely. Like after taking MRT, like I've learned how to take like criticism way differently, which like once it like okay, like coming in MRT, I thought like, oh, I'm just gonna go through the motions, but like I truly learned something. I truly learned how to listen and like take the criticism and really change myself to really better myself. And even if like in the beginning it feels like they're just hating on me, oh, they're just being haters. It's tough love, you know what I'm saying, sometimes. So like with my mom, she has nothing but the best for me. I can listen to, an inmate who's older, wiser, like my mom, she's always gonna, you know what I mean, have the best for me in mind. So, and she's always been my counsel, like as far as like if I have questions about, retirement or healthcare or anything like that, I call my mom, like, hey mom, like how do I do this? How do I do that? And usually she already have it done before I even have to worry about it. Like that was like 5 to 7 years ago where, but like now I'm 34. She should just, she's getting older. She should just have to worry about herself is where I'm at. I don't think it's fair for me to, have to be here and her to have to, how do I say, like, it's fair that, that like I did my time, but I don't want her to have to take care of me. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to buy her nice things and here, mom, like put your feet up, like I want to buy her things where it's I just don't like she shouldn't have to be taking care of a grown man, you know what I mean? It's like that position that I'm in, it just makes me feel like worse about it. So I'm always gonna listen to her now. Like, and had I listened to her in the beginning, like I wouldn't be here. That's the pure truth. So it is what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate hearing that. It sounds like you said, that she's a really good person to have in your corner and that you really need to make sure you're listening to her, even when she tells you hard things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Those are the only questions I have for you to start. I'm going to see if Susie or Jesse have any questions for you. Susie?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Pretty good.
Good, good. I just wanted to touch on this subject of your substance abuse and your mental health. It looks like we have two separate things going on here, or maybe you'll see them as one. And you were on medication at one point. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Can you give us a little insight into your mental health journey?
It's like MRT like helped my mental so much. Like it opened like doors for me that like I didn't even like know how to like overcome some things inside myself because I wouldn't even like as soon as like my mom would start giving me the hard truth and this and that, I would like put up walls where I would stop like receiving the help and stop wanting the help and then I just be like, whatever. But it's that's like MRT gave me like the confidence and the I guess stability to know that like I was successful without medicine. Medicine helped, but like I'd have stomach aches, this, that, and the third. And like it ruins your liver, I guess. I don't know, but it's like my mental is like super good. Like the more successful I become, the better it is for me. So it's like the closer I get to a goal, like knowing that like the hard work I'm putting in is like paying off and whether it be like in the gym or studying for my CDL or, staying out of trouble here, it's like it feels good to be successful. It's like a whole peace of mind where I don't have to be stressed about my finances or, having to, ask my mom for money when like she has to take care of my niece and she has her own life. Like that's stressful to me. And that's something that I know I'll overcome soon. Like when I, get a job in the free world and it will be self-sufficient. So it's like success has really like 3 years ago, I wasn't where I am now. I was 31, 32. So it's like just being 34, it's like I have like looking at TV, it just puts me in a different space. Like, yo, we're the leaders right now, like as far as the workforce. So like just knowing like, a good day's work makes me feel good. Like getting something done makes me feel good. So like my mental it's getting better. I feel like complete. And the closer I get to home, it's just only getting better. So like I still get stressed, I still get irritated about things. But once again, like MRT changed my whole like pattern of thinking. Like I can't let things like overcome my whole day just because like, one bad thing happened in the morning. I just gotta overcome that and keep it moving. So
Okay. Has mental health been a struggle for you most of your life?
yeah, like now that I think about it, like not like right now, but like thinking about it, for this last like 2 years since I completed treatment, like I've been angry about a lot of things, like my dad, like most recently my daughter, and that's just it. Like, I mean? Like those things, I always love my dad, like I always will. But I realize I gotta cut him off, like, and I'll always be there if he calls, as far as like to be there for Thanksgiving for dinner, but it's just, I don't even want to be around like that kind of energy. As far as my daughter, like it stresses me out so much. Like it's such an emotional thing for me. Like I was looking at a picture of her maybe a few years ago that my mom showed me, and, like how much she looks like me, and how older she got. Like I broke down, I started crying at the visit. And it's just like those things are forever going to be like stressors until like I reconcile the situation, or bring a form of remedy to it, and just and be able to see her. And sometimes maybe maybe me and her mom will never really be the Brady Bunch type of family. You know what I'm saying? As far as like happy go lucky, but as long as I can like be in my daughter's life and here's money for this, here's money for that. Be at the games, be at her performances. She plays violin or viola. I just want to be there. So it's getting better, like for sure.
All right. Thank you for answering my questions.
Yeah, no problem.
Jesse, any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple. Hello, Ms. Triplett. I'm Jesse. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, sir.
Thank you. Before we got started, we asked your counselor if there's any change or anything, and she said that when you first got there, there was a little bit of issues with attitude, and then you came around and the changes for the better were starting to show. What do you attribute those changes to?
I mean, the perfect, like nobody wants to be doing anything like MRT. Like 2 years ago, I solidly became a new person. Like that's a fact. Like because my mind changed. Like my body was changing, and then like when the mind changed, like being in prison during coronavirus, like I was in like a solitary confinement situation for almost a year via like me getting in trouble and then via like having to be isolated because of the coronavirus pandemic. Like it didn't break me, it made me a better person though. Like I was so stressed in the beginning, like I was dealing with personal things, like my godmom got stabbed to death by my godbrother, which is a tragedy. So like I was dealing with that. Coronavirus on top of all that, I had a really good friend die like a year ago, which is just like something in me broke, but it made me like a better person today. I don't even like talking about like the tragedies, but MRT, like on a positive note, like it made me so much better. And coronavirus happening, like it was a tragedy for a lot of people. Like I know people who have died from it. Like my cousin's cousin and his mom in Omaha or in Missouri. Um, it definitely, it didn't make me more of a fool. Like it made me wiser. And just like being 34 now versus being 29 5 years ago, it changed me like so much. Like I just want to be able to do the simple things, like just to be able to like hug my niece all the time and be at her volleyball games, be at her saxophone performances, and to be able to sit there with her and teach her how to play the saxophone more so than she's already learning. It's just things I don't want to miss, and I realized that like it wasn't that way in the beginning. Like I wasn't this person in the beginning. That's the truth. Like the paperwork will say it, my reports will say it. But like, nah, I'm changed. I feel exhausted, like mentally from being, in a situation like this because of myself. So it's like I can't ever do this to myself again. Like I can't let my irritation or anger ever overtake like my prosperity tomorrow. I can't do that anymore. So it's something that I realized. Like I said, like I keep going back to MRT. MRT, like solid. I didn't think I was going to learn anything in there. I learned so much in there. And then I took life skills, which I learned like how to make your money work for you so that you can be successful faster. You know what I mean? So it really helped me. Like that's a fact. That's what changed me, the time and
Appreciate that.
yep, for sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
So you were validated at one time as vice lords. What's your dedication to the vice lords now?
I'm not in the gang. I don't know. My probation officer said this before. I told him like I was never around vice lords, nothing like that. I've always been around like GDs. I don't gangbang. It's something that I've been around when I was younger. But like, it's just something that's childish, to even be around it though. You know what I mean? Like my dad is a grown man. He doesn't do childish things, but he drinks like every day, He does what he does. He is who he is. I just don't feel like being around it. So there's no affiliation to vice lords at all. No affiliation to GDs at all. Like I know some of them on both sides. I know some Serranos. I know some Mexican gangs. Those people I grew up with. And it's, hey, how you doing? If I see them in the, grocery store, hey, how are you? Whatever. Nice to see you. But it's not like, something I'm trying to be around. Like I would actually actively stay away from it. If they ask like, hey, I'm having a such at the house, like I'm good, bro. Like just because I know it's like a repeating thing with like those type of people as far as like the trouble they get in. I just don't want to be around it anymore. Like truly.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
My last one's gonna be kind of a statement. It's a yes or no question in a sense, basically. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that you understand that breaking the NCO, the no contact order, is the quickest way to go back to prison. You totally understand that.
Absolutely.
That's all I want to know. I have no more questions for you. Thank you.
Yep.
Any follow-up question?
No, thank you.
All right, so Mr. Triplett, now is your time to tell us anything else that you'd like for us to know or anything that you might have prepared for us today.
All right. So like I learned a lot from MRT. I always bring that up, and like there's goals in there that I have to complete. Like when I go home, like solid, like 20,000 in the bank account. Get your CDL, stuff like that. So like me becoming a new person via MRT, like this is like the beginning of the rest of my life. Like what I mean? It's almost like graduation again. That's how I feel. It's like, which like I'm not nervous like I was when I was 18 or taking a final in college. It's like I'm anxious now to be successful, because like I know like what I want and how I'm going to get it. So if you guys could, please give me the opportunity to continue to be on a positive path, because I was on the wrong path 5 years ago. I just wasn't the person I am today. So like I said, like right now is the beginning of the rest of my life. Like that's a fact. And yeah, I just need my chance and my shot. And I guarantee you will not be wasted or squandered in any form or fashion. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yep,
Now
yep.
sit back and listen and we'll let you know what our decision is.
Alrighty.
All right. Jesse or Susie, what are your thoughts on the recommendation for Mr. Triplett?
I think it was a good interview. I think he's gained some insight. It's nice to see the backup from his counselor that she observed these changes as well, and then he's staying consistent with these changes and what he's taken away from MRT. So I'm going to be in support of the DOC recommendation. I believe it's a PGD3 with the 10B. Also for the 40A, I would put the cognitive in there as well, and the substance abuse, mental health component as well. With med compliance, I believe he's taking meds right now, and the 50 and 20B.
I think he's weaned himself off the medications now.
Very nice.
So you said, sorry, cognitive, mental health, and substance abuse.
58 and 20B.
It all typed in. All right, Susie, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to go ahead and support the department's recommendation. I'm looking at the amount of time served, the amount of time left, and I think it's positive to step him out into another level of supervision. It seems that, MRT was impactful for him. He's brought it up several times. And I appreciate that he understands the legal process to have contact with his child. I would agree with Jesse's codes, PGD 310B, 20B, mental health, cognitive, the substance abuse, and the 50A. I kind of toyed with the 20A because of the stalking and the texting. I just thought I'd throw that out there, but I agree with the codes that were given.
Yeah, it's a good point. I need to actually, I'm on the fence. I think that usually we use it, more aimed at
The crimes
What?
at the sex offender.
Yeah, but there was the internet and text messages used in this, so I don't know that it's entirely like inappropriate. And it's one that can be removed by the districts. It doesn't have to come back to us, so I think I could put it on to begin with. 28. Okay, so I've got the 10B, the no early discharge, limited internet, 40A, cognitive mental health, substance abuse, and a 50A. Missed anything? All right, Mr. Triplett, so we are gonna go ahead and grant your release today, and I'm gonna talk you through everything that we were just talking about. So the first is, so you're gonna go out and you're gonna start at the work release. So that's that 10B. That means you'll start at the work release. When you leave, you'll have standard terms of parole that everyone has, and your PO will go over all of those with you. And then what the board does is they place additional special terms of parole, and that's what we were talking about. So we have a couple that we're gonna ask you to abide by. The first one is when you first go out, you're gonna have some limited internet and text messaging usage because you did have the texts to your victim and that stalking. That can be changed by your PO as you demonstrate appropriate behavior, but we're gonna have you start out with that.
Okay.
The next one is a 20B, which is no early discharge. So because of the violence here, we are gonna ask that you remain on paper until your TDD in December of 2026. The 40A, those are treatment codes or classes that we'd like you to do out in the community. So we'd like you to engage with your mental health. So a counselor or groups, anything that you think would help with your mental health. Continuous substance abuse treatment, since that's been an issue in the past. And then we're gonna ask you to continue with another cognitive class. And so that would be something like MRT. It would build off the things you learned in MRT. And then the final one is a prohibition on drinking alcohol or being places where alcohol is the primary activity. So no drinking, no liquor stores, no bars that don't sell food.
Right.
All right, any questions for me about what any of those mean?
Nope.
All right, well, thank you for your time today and get out there and do well.
Wish you well.
Thank you. Appreciate
Take
it.
care.
All right, y'all see it.
Right.
I don't fret now. All right, thank you, board.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
See ya.
All right, so I just double checked right now. It looks like they cut the feed already on that one. I guess it might have been that might have been it. I started another stream. I'm doing Connecticut right now. It just started maybe about 5-10 minutes ago. We're just on the first case, so I'm gonna shut this one down. If you guys want to jump on the other one, it's currently running right now. I would highly appreciate it. And like I said around here, that's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it lights out. And with that, I'm out.